my next guest, 2018 former first-round draft pick. He played 6 seasons at center in the NFL for the Bengals, the Giants, and the Cardinals. Billy Price, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Congrats on your recent retirement, of course. You have a lot to talk about, a great, inspiring story. I think we all are sort of aware of what happened. You had an issue, a blood clot. It was a saddling blood clot right between your, I read all about it these past couple of days, in your lungs, a true emergent surgery situation. How are you feeling? Let's start there.
Feeling actually pretty well. So I finally started working out again, doing basic things, and feeling as if nothing actually happened, which is kind of the scary part about it. So it was a freak accident. Was actually out in the yard messing with my son. I've got a 1.5-year-old son. Sorry, excuse me. 1.5-year-old son, and went to go bend down to go pick up something from the yard. Ended up getting pretty lightheaded and couldn't slow the heart rate. Again, emergency surgery is supposed to be 30 to 45 minutes. Ended up being 2 hours long on the table, and just thankful to be alive, truly.
And I'm sure you had all the support from your beautiful wife, your son that you're talking about, Hudson. We're glad you're feeling okay. We're glad you're healing up. And it sort of must put things into perspective. I'm so curious, like, with the decision to retire, you had a very, before this, thoughtful approach, as I understand it, thinking about what your future would be, pursuing something outside of football. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so you're still processing part of it and understanding that, again, because part of my identity over the last 6 going on 7 years here was preparing for training camp, and you're getting ready to get going here, and that's something that's not going to be there. So in the past couple of years, I've started my MBA with Kelley Business School here at Indiana University, and so kind of meticulously been thinking about just the next steps of outside of football. And that's a situation where taking some courses during the season, taking courses, throughout the year, cranking things up outside of football. So anywhere from January on, taking multiple classes. So preparing for that, but, it is still very, very difficult. Again, you go through days where you're like, okay, the next chapter is going to be exciting. Again, I get to watch my kid grow, continue to develop my family, as my wife and I are hopeful for baby number 2 here. But it is still a situation that, again, your identity is now, it's almost lost. And so it's tough, but it is a situation, though. You have a great support system around you, and you're able to kind of cultivate a better environment as you go into the next chapter.
I really think part of what you're going to do now is stand as this beacon of how unpredictable life can be. And maybe marrying yourself to this identity. I mean, look at you, Remington Trophy winner, All-American, first-round pick. To marry yourself entirely to something that can be gone like that. Like, I think you are a perfect person to hold the candle for. Be prepared for everything. Pursue the degree. You had an internship with Nike, right? Like, that was something that was important to you to have some, obviously you're not thinking about like, oh, where am I going to apply? You're not going to go on, a career builder right now and do that. Like, you're settling, you're relaxing, you have a lot ahead of you. You can do anything. I hope you pursue media. You can talk about Joe Burrow, your time with the Giants, all of that. You have so much that you can give. But I do think there's something about you that really speaks to the preparedness that I wish players had, and the perspective of knowing that it could be gone in a moment and to prepare for the unpredictable.
Yeah, the preparedness aspect of it is something that I know players do not pay attention to. Again, you've got guys in the locker room. Again, when you step foot into a training camp at the end of July, and then next thing you know, you blink and it's Super Bowl time. The time flies so fast during the season, and that's something. It's tough. And again, at the blink of a moment, things could be gone. Again, I was, I spread 9 yards of mulch a couple months ago. I was just at Ohio State spring game, walking miles around the campus, carrying my son at the time. We took him up there to go see the All-American tree, which was something special for me that Ohio State does in their traditions. And then next thing you know, 2 weeks later, boom, I'm in the hospital table. Things happen that fast. So it's one of those things. I know the decision, again, potentially playing with blood clots and being on blood thinners. If I get hit from the side on any type of TE stunt or any type of, defensive line pick games, there's an internal bleed and the risk for that I might not make it off the field at that time. And so it's a tough decision to make. But again, being able to see my family continue to grow and be a father and a businessman in my next chapter, it's exciting, but again, life is so precious.
What's the hardest part? If I were to ask you, I know it's sensitive right now, but like as far as football, walking away, I imagine you're going to say the locker room, but what specifically is the hardest part of that decision?
Yeah. The locker room for sure. Again, playing with the Dallas Cowboys last year, although I was on practice squad, you're still a member of the team. And in each dynamic, you talk about Thursday dinners with the O-line and just the conversations, just getting to know people a little bit better on a personal level, not football level. It's different. People are completely different. Their interests, their family life, Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Tyler Biotish, those guys are so unique and so they're just phenomenal people. And so you get to learn more about those individuals. And so Thursday dinners will be tough. Just the camaraderie. Again, you're out there on the field. Again, I've got relationships with guys all over the country now because of the different teams that I played. So just that connection and that shared experience going forward and being on the field together, that's definitely something you'll miss.
You were in Cincinnati when they weren't so great. I think I'm looking at the record, 2-14 in 2019.
Yeah. There were some tough days.
Then you were there for Zach Taylor's first year, his sort of come up and all of that. You're talking about relationships. I'd love for you to tell me about Joe Burrow, maybe being around him. You're both from Ohio, like you said, former Buckeyes. You've sung each other's praises after great games with the Bengals. What is your relationship like with him?
With Burrow, he's still the type of guy, if I were to send him a text right now, he'd respond. He's the type of guy who'll give you your shirt off your back, but you've got to be in Joe's circle. That's for sure. He's a phenomenal athlete. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing him a healthy Joe Burrow this year and being able to dominate the AFC North. The good competition. Again, I was raised a Steelers fan. So it's when I got drafted by Cincinnati, there was always still that hometown being close to Pittsburgh. So watching the competition and how, the Baltimore Ravens have cultivated their roster this year, the Steelers and what they've done. Cincinnati is tough. Again, you can never count the Browns out. So Burrow's got his work set out for him, but I know Zach and Cincinnati and Frank Pollock and that offensive line and that group they're gonna do some really good things this year.
I think you're gonna do some really good things in sports media, it sounds like. I can't wait to see what happens with Billy Price. Donovan McNabb, Eagles legend, 6-time Pro Bowler, was just on my show, and he said Joe Burrow, I've always said Joe Burrow is the second best quarterback in the NFL, obviously second to Patrick Mahomes, but he can't stay healthy. Where would you put Joe Burrow in the overall quarterback conversation? You've played with Daniel Jones, of course, and you know the game. What do you think?
I know, again, in training with people who play with Patrick Mahomes and Trey Smith, Burrow's definitely up there. I'll tell you that his ability to analyze the defense and understand and read a defense, and he knows where to put the ball. It's not Zach Taylor making the offense. It's Joe Burrow being able to read defenses, manipulate defenders, and just his relationship with T. Higgins, his relationship with Jamar, that skill group is just so dynamic and so explosive. So definitely would put him top 5, and he's definitely above 3 for damn sure.
He's definitely above 3
for damn
sure, says Billy Price. Let's go. I love that. I want to give you a chance to give me your best Urban Meyer story, because I saw that this is a perfect way to end the show on a Wednesday. He was just announced as a nominee, I think one of 10 nominees for the 2025 College Football Hall of Fame. He's in there. He's up against the Aaron Donalds of the world. Give me your best Coach Meyer story.
There are just endless amounts of stories. I just think that the preparation in which we went into the national championship game, playing Alabama and playing Oregon, we had 2 scout teams running against the defense. We had, looking at Alabama's front 7 and understanding how we were going to attack certain players because they weren't good at certain things. And so I think that his preparation and his mental capacity for the game is something that no other coach is going to be able to touch. And as college football has changed so much, players they don't absorb it as well. And, that's my opinion on how the game has changed so much. But just Urban Meyer's preparation and his passion for the game as you go forward and being able to exploit players and their weaknesses, something that I definitely took as I went into the NFL.
Love that. How was being on the Cowboys, even just practice squad, different than the other teams that you were on? We have like 30 seconds. Sorry. It's
a business thing. Jerry's world is business, man. Again, you're working out at the weight room and you've got fours going by. Some of the things are true. But Jerry will spare no expense to make sure that the football team is taken care of and done right. So again, all the media, you guys love to talk about Dallas Cowboys and the rosters and this and cap space and Zeke and Dak and this. It is football, and it is America's team, and there is no expense that's spared.
Billy Price, I just wanted to say, delightful to meet you, to talk to you. Come on the show anytime you'd like. All your best to your family, and thank you for the perspective on a Wednesday. Appreciate it. Glad you're feeling well and get some rest.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you, sir. We'll talk to you later. We'll be back tomorrow.